Okay, let's see if this worked. Okay, let's try it again. Ready? Hello. Hello, hello, hello. We are at my house today. Welcome, welcome. I think we are recording. Everything looks like it is on. Fantastic. We are recording from my home today, so welcome to my house. If anyone knows me, you know that I have been sick for forever. I had pneumonia and then I got oral thrush. Who gets oral thrush at my age? But I got oral thrush, me and my son. We had the exact same thing, and I still can't rid of all these sores. And so, anyways, um, welcome. We're talking about the mouth today. You're going to be looking in my mouth, and I still have a bleeding tongue. Crazy, right? I'm doing um what's it called? Peroxide rinse. I'm taking Chronial Silver, trying to get my immune system up. Something's wrong. But anyways, hi, welcome. We are talking about the tongue today. I love the tongue. It's a great thing, and it's a muscle that no one that is not like any other muscle in your body, meaning it is the only one that has a little flappy thing and is not connected at the other side. So we are going to talk about the tongue. We're going to talk about a tongue thrust. I'm going to be teaching some exercises. So let's get into all the things about your tongue. Okay, so let's come this way. Welcome, welcome. As I said, my name is Colby. I am a speech language pathologist. I am an oral facial myologist. I own a private practice in San Diego. It's in Carlsbad, California. And it is a great place to be. And I also have an oral motor program. It's called Super Strong Speech. It does teach all of the exercises we will be learning today. And really the goal of that is what I found in my practice is that the more often we add strength of movement and accuracy of movement in the oral cavity, the better speech is and the easier it is to teach your child, meaning when they go to speech therapy at school or with your speech pathologist in your area, they will be able to very much follow the directions of the speech pathologist and lift and move and hold their tongue in a certain way. Because again, let's just talk about a tongue thrust. Usually with a tongue thrust, you do see the tongue in the S and the Z, right? So, or it could be the SH, it could also be the J, it could also be the CH, usually the TR for some reason, that usually comes along with that. But there are lots of sounds that come with that tongue thrust. But when you see a tongue thrust, more often than thrusting during eating or an open mouth eating position, I am looking at rest position. How does your child sit most often? And most often that is this low tongue in the mouth. It is either low and forward or it is just low, right? So it's usually an open lip rest posture, not always. I'm just, usually. It's low and forward. So you see, and that's kind of how they work. And the lips kind of come forward just a little bit. So you get this little poochie around the lip. You get these nice, sometimes, I'm not going to, again, sometimes you get the nice little poochie lips. Sometimes you don't, because the lips are doing so much work to hold that jaw up. So the nose can breathe, that it is, what was I going to say? The lips are a little more small. You don't really have an upper lip, so it's a little bit different. So everyone, does manifest in a different way, just due to actual mouth movements. But when you have a tongue thrust, you're usually, again, we're looking at something that is a repetitive way that your mouth is. So anything you do over 6 hours a day is considered a habit. If you sleep for 8 hours a night and the entire night your mouth is open or you're snoring, you are a mouth breather. I don't care what you do during the day, but during the night, your mouth is open and you're snoring, you're a mouth breather. All right. So, and it is not normal to snore at any age. I know that I have gotten into some heated arguments with some of my parents about their husband being just fine, but no one is supposed to Be snoring. Your tongue, when you snore, it is your tongue and your body trying to gasp and move the muscles out of the way so they can breathe, so you can get air and live while you sleep. So that's really what it is. Grinding the teeth is also the same thing. The jaw is doing everything it can to pull all this up and forward. And so you get grinding, so you have neck problems. For me, I got tori, and I don't know if anyone tori is. It's extra bony growth within the mouth. So, uh-huh. I have extra bony growth. It's called tori. So you get that as well. And you get lots of neck and headaches and all of these things. As we grow older, it kind of changes from children to adults. In the beginning, it's a lot of speech problems. And as we grow, your body knows how to make modifications. And so it changes to like ailments, right? As picky eating is kind of something that does follow you. If you don't really like steak and all of those things, it could be because you have a tongue tie and your tongue has a hard time holding and moving the bolus of food around in your mouth. Okay. With that being said, let's jump in. That's kind of what we're going to be talking about today and the reasons for it. I probably going to repeat myself because I'm really good at that too. All righty. All right. So, okay, let's keep going. Okay. So here we are. We are looking at the first slide. Welcome to the tongue. Thank you for coming. My biggest challenges with my kids are, and I would love to know your biggest challenges. This is where I ask you to either email me or put something in the comments. So if you are having a challenge, I will happily speak into that challenge and hopefully help you solve a small part of it today. But my biggest challenge is I had a daughter who was a very much a mouth breather. I knew something was off. Her speech was off to me. No other speech pathologist heard that offness, but I hear it. And now my late girls in my office do hear it. It doesn't come all that often because it is a functional tongue tie. My daughter lost all of her teeth and was a very early teeth or the teeth falling out. So she had to get oral surgery twice as a young child to keep her teeth in because they were falling out so fast. And so she hated the doctor. That is why she did not get her tongue tie released. So she is a functional tongue tie, but yes, it does still affect her speech sometimes. And we will find out. She's not old enough to kiss boys. She's 13. So I don't know if that's going to be an affected thing. She does not grind her teeth anymore. She does sleep in an closed rest posture. She does breathe in a closed rest posture at this point because she did go through all of this, obviously. And so was mine. She did need braces. She had to go through braces twice. So she went through the first phase, and that was for some of it was to keep the teeth in. So, anyways, there's my challenges. What are yours? And what are you hoping to get out of today? Again, same question, same way to please respond. I love it when people tell me what they want out of these because it helps me make them and design it for everyone that comes. So what are you hoping to get out of today? What are you hoping to learn? What do you hope I can help you with? I'm gonna
bring my thing too.
I'm gonna mute you. Okay, so and then we're gonna keep going. So what else is I think maybe what can cause this? It's really not caused by much. It's just kind of anatomy and way it comes in. It is hereditary. Some people that have tongue ties do their children do have tongue ties. My husband was in speech therapy. He had a tongue tie and a lisp, and so hopefully it came from his side. Ha ha ha. No, I'm kidding because my nephew also was in speech, so it could be from my side too. But yes, it is hereditary. My sister and I were not in speech therapy, but it's hereditary, but it's usually tethered tissues. That is the cause of a tongue tie is a tethered tissue. But if we're talking about a tongue thrust, that can also be just from your consistent and habitual rest position. Biggest worry, ADHD. I already have ADHD. My children, maybe or not. I think they do, especially my daughter. She has extreme anxiety. She was the one I kind of got into the ADHD world about. But I don't know. I just don't need to take my kids to the doctor to be told they had something all the time. So I believe that they have maybe slight amounts of it. And so I do everything to work with it. I work with BrainWorks. My daughter and I did the BrainWorks program. I love BrainWorks. I love all of those things. There's another place here in San Diego called Brain Balance. It's a great place. But I do believe in all of these things that I'm going to be talking about, the woo-woo, I guess you could say. Um, but I don't believe they're woo-woo. I think nowadays, especially in this day and age, we're talking about so many things that you put in the body and how the body affects that I think that we're starting to learn that even crossing midline and holding positions and giving yourself what are they called? Where we change the plasticity of the brain and new belief systems. Sorry, I do believe that it's not woo-woo anymore, or at least it's starting to not be so woo-woo. So, anyways, there's mine. So I don't give my kids any kind of ADHD medication from doctors, but I do lots of supplements, and like I said, we do chromium silver and all that kind of good stuff. So, with that being said, my biggest worry was ADHD and mouth breathing. 100%. It's correlated to unable to focus, inattention, all of those things. And it's hard enough for me to focus in the moment. So I wanted to make sure my kids had all of that as well. I had horrible ADHD as a child, and I got in a lot of trouble in school. Okay, so this person, I can't remember her name, Diane D'Onofrio. I don't even know how to say her last name. Big in the oral facial world. This is her definition of a dysfunctional oral facial disorder. It's dysfunction of the lips, jaw, tongue, or oral pharynx that interferes with normal growth, development, or function of the oral structures. The consequence of a sequence of events or lack of intervention is critical at critical periods that result in malocclusions and suboptimal vase development. So that in there, we're kind of looking at the word intervention. So in terms of malocclusions, yes, that can happen at any point. If you get braces and you don't have your tongue as that natural retainer, even adults get oral orthodontic relapse. So I see adults for that reason. I don't see very many adults anymore. I used to see a lot of adults after tongue tie release. But I don't know. My number one referral source moved out of the state. And so I'm guessing that's why. But I don't see very many adults very much for this anymore, but I do see a lot of kids for it from orthodontists, local orthodontists, and just from parents. I have a parent that came in she has a 5-year-old, and this little 5-year-old is a mouth breather. She pulled up me pictures, and because his speech is quote unquote normal for his age, has been told by other speech pathologists that everything's normal. And mom's like, but he's snoring, but he drools constantly. This can't be normal, and it's not normal. So we are working on that. We would need that tongue to be in the mouth and all the time, even when you're sleeping. So again, suboptimal face development. His lips are growing out. You get a long, skinny face rather than a more wide jaw. Even I have kind of an angled jaw here from here to here. So I just pulled my earring out. Instead of being a little flatter and more square, I kind of have a long jaw. But again, I had braces as a child, and I did grind my teeth constantly. So I did think that I had some of this going on in my life. Okay, so why do we want to do the therapy? Again, I've kind of talked about all of this. Nasal breathing is a huge thing. And nasal breathing, it puts nitrous oxide into the air as you suck it, as it goes in through the nose. Your body adds that nitric oxide as well as humidifies the air. So that when you get a humidified air, it's easier for the lungs to absorb the oxygen and facilitate it into your bloodstream, meaning your body parts are more oxygenated. As we know, oxygen cures almost everything. You can get rid of cancer and all these things from oxygen baths and all these things that are, again, not so woo-woo anymore. So the more oxygen we can get into our bloodstream optimally, meaning through our nose, the better our body parts are growing. Again, I'm talking to my pediatric people here. So the better your body parts are growing, they're more saturated in oxygen. And again, you'll be more alert, better in class, learning, it sticks, all the fun things, right? So that was, again, my biggest worry when I started all of this. Okay, so then, of course, we get speech clarity. There's my second one. That's really for my business. And eliminates non-nutritive sucking. So again, my daughter had all of this. She would suck on everything. And I mean, everything. When we would go to the beach, I would have to bring a blow up, pool for my husband to blow up, and then I would put ocean water in there so she could sit in there because she would eat sand, she would eat the toy, she would eat the everything was in her mouth. So anyways, she still did it as a young child, but we, again, after she went through the oral motor program, you are 4. I know we're going to talk about that. 4 is usually the age that we want to see that disassociation for. So 4 is when we start. Um, but again, it allows all of this fun stuff that I'm putting in here to help. So this is not swallowing therapy. It is not swallowing therapy. It is the oral phase, oral pharynx phase. So it is when I have to code it for speech therapy, it is R1311. So it's the oral phase dysphagia, meaning I'm going to be working on everything in the oral phase of the bolus control. Once you hit here, dunk, I'm done, right? I don't have any control after that because I'm not doing barium swallows. If you cough and choke during food, hands off from me. I need you to first get all the structures and the function of everything in your throat to work. So it is not swallowing therapy, but it is dysphagia therapy. So I know that, and that means swallowing. So, okay. So again, we usually start around age 4. At age 4 is what we call disassociation, where the jaw works independent of the lips, and they all work independent of the tongue. So I'm going to come out here for a minute and let's start a small start of our conversation. So we don't have anything in the chat, right? Let me see. Yes, lisp, tongue thrust. Yeah. Now, again, it doesn't always have to be a tongue thrust. Sometimes it is, but that is a thrusting position of the tongue. I'm not going to say it's always a tongue thrust. So, yes and no. Clarity of speech and drooling would be my biggest challenge. Yes. Wonderful. You're at the right place. We're going to help you with all of these things, especially what I'm going to talk about today. They are the beginning parts of the program. So make sure that you're doing these. And again, with a neurodivergent son, you're going to want to be doing these often with them, because again, that's going to be helping with the consistency and how much we change the pattern, because we're changing patterns with motor movement. OT, speech, we're all working on motor movements. That's why sometimes you see the PT and the movies and stuff moving the leg and they have to help. We are going to guide the mouth in the beginning, and you're going to be doing some help with that guiding. It's not so much touching. I would say that's more prompt. When I do prompt therapy is when I'm doing more of that actual hands-on when I touch the face. But this is still somewhat like that. So with that being said, anything you do, one of the principles of motor theory states, the more often you do something in short periods of time, the faster it gets into your subconscious. So I want you doing this often in short periods of time. And as I tell my parents, I would love it if you did it every time the blinker's on. So once you know your child can do it in isolation, I would be investing. I have all my therapists use them. They travel. They can go next to the bathtub where your child's already corralled, right? You already have them in a spot. They can't really get away. They're in the bathtub, and we just put it on the side, and there we have a quick session. Now, again, a quick session is 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We're not recreating my office, okay? Parents, I don't want you recreating speech therapy in your home. It's just a cause for some arguments, right? And I don't want it to be an argument. I want short periods to change muscle patterning so we can get in the mood. Even when I move you over to actual speech production, I want it often and in short periods of time, every time the blinker's on. And if you put a sticky note on your car, on your dash where you drive, it's just a great reminder. So for me, again, I tried to pull it into my own life about how I use my own strategies, I guess the word is I'm looking for. And I did a lot of leadership in terms of helping me grow and be a better leader in my home and in my work and all of that. And so one of those things is getting feedback from people. What do people say to me? I don't smile enough. That was the feedback I got. I have a lot of, I don't know if there's children watching this, but RBF. I think I mouthed that in case you could read my mouth when I said that. I have a lot of that, and I'm difficult to approach. And so they told me I don't smile enough. So what did I do? Made a sticky note, and I put it on my dashboard. I put it everywhere, and it said smile. So even when I was in fun California traffic, I hated it, but I was smiling, right? I'm trying to change the pattern in which I hold one of my muscles. So that's what I did. I even put little dots on my fingernails. Every time I looked at the dots or someone commented on the dots, it wasn't to tell them, oh, this is what I'm working on. No, it was to, oh, I just was decorating my nails. It was a reminder. Someone else told me. So again, when your child is at the independent stage, build in a way to get independence. Any type of that is whatever goal you're working on. You as an adult, you as a teacher, try to think, what could I put every time my kids look at this red dot on the thing, they're going to be working on whatever their personal goal is, right? Not raising, not speaking out of turn, whatever that is for you. Try to help them remember on their own. Oh yeah, I'm working on not talking, keeping my hands to myself, whatever that is, right? So for me, it was smiling and keeping a positive outer look because inside I'm like chill, but I guess it didn't look that way. So anyways, okay, let's go back. So what I'm talking about is disassociation. So your jaw grades and your air grades, right? So I am speaking at a different level than you guys are breathing. I take a big breath in and I grade it out to make sure the whole sentence gets out without stopping. You guys are gently in and out. So I am grading my breath. Your jaw grades in terms of how you do your vowels. E, I, a, right? So the jaw grades while you're talking, as well as your lips go in and out for E, oo, O, ooh, like in look, book, and then book, and what are all the other oohs, right? So all those oohs and different sounds, you have to move your mouth, and then at the same time, it doesn't matter if you are at E or your tongue still has to say t. Right? So your tongue still has to be able to reach and hit that spot to make an accurate sound. So that's what I'm speaking of in terms of disassociation. Your tongue works independent of your lips, which work independent of your jaw, right? So all of them can move really quickly and we can get lots of words out and it all sounds great, right? That's what I'm speaking of. So that's what we're going to be working on in changing this pattern of your child. So most of the time I get when I ask kids to do things, their lips come in, or like it's called lizard. I ask them to see, let me see what your tongue looks like coming in and out. I get curl back. Do you see how everything's involved? My jaw's moving, my lips are moving, everything's moving in my tongue. And I want a simple movement. I do give an example. I do say it because I want them to attempt something independent. So again, if you're going to ask your child, do lizard, make your tongue come in and out, see what they do first, and then give an example because they will mimic you. Yes, they'll get better as soon as they see your beautiful model, but they probably won't get perfect. So again, these are just, and I'm going to go there. I have a little thing that you can look at in terms of how I ask these questions. But again, this is what we're looking for. Do the parts work independent of one another? If they don't, we need to break that connection so the speech can increase their clarity, or we can get independent movement of the other. Okay, so let's go back. All right, so here we are. So we're working on age. There we go. I think I'm going the wrong way. Let me move all these things I can't see. Okay. So OTs do work on feeding. They are actually working on more of picky eating and manifestations in feeding in terms of some kids just don't like textures and all of these other things. And so sometimes you got to work on that, right? Being able to touch something creamy or, saucy, whatever. Those kinds of things. Okay, so let's walk through some of this. A mature swallow consists of the tongue cupping to hold the food or liquid for swallowing. Sides of the tongue are sealing against the roof of, against the sides of the hard palate, which is your upper hard palate. The tip of the tongue is rising to the ridge, which is the bumpy things right behind your front teeth, behind the front teeth to do the swallow. At rest, and the rest of the tongue then squeezes upward in the front and back motion to move the food to the back of the throat for swallowing. So let me just kind of show what that means. Just real quick. So it's a bowl. We need the tongue to be, the food gets in the middle of the bowl. Your chew, chew, chew. I know you guys probably don't understand that your tongue does this automatically, but we chew. We usually take the food and we go on one side, this side, inner, outer, inner, and we kind of rotate it with our tongue and it goes in a chewing rotated motion. Some people have a preferred side that they chew on most often. You don't always switch sides. Usually different bites go to different sides. But some people, do it all over. However, we start as the food starts to get in a more of a mush, you start to bolus it, meaning you put it all together and hold it in a little cup. Your tongue does this in your mouth. And for your children who are still really puffy cheeks, that your body is helping by not getting rid of these cheeks and letting it thin out. That is because something is going on in there, and the food is, it helps if the cheeks are puffy and keep the food in the middle, right? So it doesn't get in these little in the all in here in the buckles. So again, if you have stuffing of the mouth or not enough food going in the mouth and food is taking forever to eat, might have a problem, might have some oral issues going on. Okay, so then you're going to put your tongue to spot and then squeeze it. So a proper swallow does have teeth completely closed, because again, my tongue can't do this. It is completely closed. Teeth are smashed together. Okay. All right, let's go back. All right. So if the child uses a tongue thrust swallow, they do not effectively clear the mouth of food, liquid, or saliva. So after your child takes that bite, ask them to show you their, and again, let them like swallow, and you're going to see the swallows. And when before they go for a next bite or during the next bite, look in that oral cavity. Did they clean the mouth? And I mean clean the mouth. There should be almost zero residue after every, full swallow. So you do like half swallows while you're actually chewing. And then when the swallow, before you take a new bite in your mouth, is usually clean. It should be clean of food. Okay, so that's what we're talking about there. So a tongue thrust swallow is also associated with an overbite or open space between the upper and lower teeth. I do agree with that, but again, we're talking more about rest position here. So I'm more than me caring about that tongue being seen. It's more during the end of the swallows. It's the cleaning swallows. It's not really the swallows while they're chewing. It's the when they're almost ready for another bite. Those are my tongue thrust swallows. And that's what you see. Because when they have a lot of food still in their mouth that they're still kind of chewing, you're not going to see all that much of the tongue. Okay. So that end of the chew is where I want you guys to kind of focus on your kiddo and see there. Okay. And we're going to talk about all these things now. Never mind. I'm not going to jump. I'm really good at jumping around. I'm not going to jump around. Let's keep going. Okay. All righty. All right. So let me read this real fast. Okay. So this is how we know. So we kind of talked about this. Your child has too much food or not enough, eats too much, puts on sauces. Yeah, this is all very much associated with all of these. We very much think that your child has a tongue a tongue thrust or a thrusting swallow. So again, I want you to look at all things. And number two, I want you to go and walk in while they're sleeping. So I want you to go in and check them out while they're sleeping to see what the mouth is doing. Now, even my babies, if you're trying to take out the binky, which you can go in and after your child falls asleep, go in and take it. Don't leave it in the what's it called? The sleeping pin. I can't think of what it's called. Because they will just go look for it in the night. They're smart. And if you find out that if you go in and take it in the night, they start crying again, that's because they were probably looking for it and weren't really sleeping through the night. They were looking for the binky to help them go back to sleep. Again, I want the binky out at around age 3. If you need help with that, please text me, email me, text me, email. There are some things I'm not really going to steal it from your kid. We're going to try other tactics first, and then we'll talk about other ways that we can do it and to make you not the bad guy, because someone's going to be a bad guy usually. Okay, so here's the finding the problem. So this is really what it looks like. So when I screen a kid or when I teach parents how to do super strong speech, which I think that's the next little slide here. Oh no, I don't know where's my super strong speech one is. Okay, we're going to go back to that because that one talks about more about our movements. So I have you look out all of these things and I have you look at your child. You're going to screen them and then you can either come back and we go over this screening together, or you can send it to me and I can go over it and then I send you what I need you to do with your kid, because I'm going to need a video. So usually this is how I start with most of my kids that are super strong speech. Again, I do work with kids in all over the country, all over the world. I have 2 kids in Australia, Michigan. I have a few on the East Coast. I can't remember everywhere where they are. I don't have anybody in the UK right now. No, I don't. Okay. I'm trying to think of even if some of my girls have other people because I do train all of my therapists in this super strong speech program. They are full. I don't care how, well, I shouldn't say that. My SLPs, they don't really like to stick to my side because they're say they have the same degree as me. However, because I'm oral facial biologist as well, I do want them to understand oral structure because it really did change my therapy. It really does. When you understand why the mouth is doing what it's doing and why the muscles are doing what they're doing, man, does therapy get a little bit easier. So all of my therapists go through all of my programs. Um, and so they learn how to do all of this. So yeah, we'll go over this together with a video. I want to see your kid in action. I want to see them talking, telling about their favorite birthday gift, about what they want for Christmas, all of that kind of stuff. And then you're going to go through this oral checklist screening with them. And then you're going to give me a video of them eating because I want to watch how they chew and how much food they're putting in their mouth. And then one of us, someone from my team will go over with all of this with you, and then we talk about what your goals will be. Okay, so that's kind of how the program works in terms of super strong speech. Okay, so let's look at this because the other thing I do want to talk about is gagging. Gagging is a question I get a lot of. And gagging is what nerve is that pulls the gag? It's the number 9, nerve 9. The palatal-glossus, I think it's the palatal-glossus. Anyways, cranial nerve 9, it comes in somewhere up in this area. You have your styloid process up in here. These are the ones that raise and pull the tongue up and back, right? And you also have this palatal-glossus here. So with that being said, this is where the gag reflex is. When you're doing super strong speech, when you are doing lots of oral work, your child is going to start yawning. I want yawning. I'm looking down. I'm sorry, my video's there. So yawning is moving all of these muscles. So what I'm inducing is a yawn. I also get a lot of gagging. That's part of this. I don't always know why, but it is because of the what is it called? That cranial 9 nerve that comes through here and these muscles, they are getting a nice good workout. So if you have a gagger, let's talk about some things that we can do to stop the gag. So even for you adults, if you're going to go to the dentist and you have to get some teeth work done, there is, oh, I wrote it down. I forget this. I'm not very good to where's I love me. It is the cricoid tympani nerve. The cricoid tympani nerve gets kind of silenced with salt. So if you put a little salt on your tongue, that will really help with that gag reflex because you're making the nerves focus on something and rather than the other. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. This is going to be a little shorter term. It's not going to be a long-term help with you. But I do work with gagging with a lot of kids. So breath control. I do want you to do some breath control. We're going to work on, box breathing, 4 up, 4 over, 4 down, 4 in. Wait, no. 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold, 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold. So you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. And then we start our talk tools. So talktools.com. Yes, talktools.com. We are going to be going for the red ones. I do use purple. I don't think I have any purple ones right now. Purple is for my chewers. So I really don't, if you are working on gagging, no purples for you. If you're working on strengthening these muscles, so again, you have big poofy cheeks, you have a lot of tongue thrusting. Elena, this might be actually, Elena, I think we're friends. I think I know you. This is going to be more for you. So I want these here. Okay. So you're going to be getting there, and it comes in packs of 2. I think they're $35 with tax and everything. But this is a number 7. Oh, let me follow up that around. Number 7. This is a number 3. This is a number 3. I put them in different packs so I know which ones I need. Oh, 3 again. Okay, here's a 2. 2. Ding, ding, ding. 1 is this little tiny guy. And here's the 7. So here's the smallest in terms of big one and a 7. So you can see the difference in the how much we are going to grade the jaw. Going back to that grading of the jaw, right? So I can't just jump into speech, especially with kids that have a huge tongue thrust. Okay. So really, I have to first teach the tongue what to do. And the easiest way to do that is an open mouth. So when I do an open mouth rest posture, I have to at some point get to a large mouth prop. If you're buying them on Amazon, the largest one I want you to get is a yellow mouth prop. That is a pretty small mouth prop. It's the smallest one on Amazon. They're huge. Even my adults get the smallest one. But me, I order mine in bulk from a oral facial company. So mine are white. They do have it. And I'm pretty sure the yellow ones from Amazon have this as well. But I have a tall side and a short side. And the tall side always goes against your cheek here and here, right? And then you hold the circle. And I can move my tongue. So by the time I get to a 7, I am at my mouth prop and now I can switch, right? So that's kind of what that looks like. So you are going to, if you are a gagger, you have someone with a gag, you have someone that doesn't like to open their mouth. Another thing, I don't know about you, Elena, but sometimes they just don't open the mouth so the speech can't get out clearly, right? So sometimes it's opening that mouth. So we're going to grade that jaw. And we're going to do it this way. So we're going to find where they're successful and where it starts to fade. So let's just say that it was at a number 4 they can do, and a number 5 they gag. Now this is 7. I'm sorry, I don't have a 5 right here with me. But a number 4 they gag are great and can hold it, and a number 5 they gag. We do both, right? So we sometimes have to start at the beginning of the mouth. Sometimes we have to wake the front of the mouth up, right? And sometimes that rubbing is right? So again, this is a desensitizing activity and it can take time. I can never tell you how long this is going to take for your child or your for personal self if you are an adult, but I am going to tell you that's going to work if you do the work. So you're going to hold it for 10. So you're going to desensitize, heal, and then we hold for 10 on each side and in the front. All the way in the boots. I'll throw a little spit out on there. Sorry. All the way in the back on the teeth. Now this one still makes me gag, you guys. This on a 7, and having to smush my tongue back and hold it way back there to 10 seconds, it even makes me, I'm like, oh, holding it in because I can even feel it. So again, this is a big one. And I do this all the time. And so this is hard, right? I'm not going to say this one's easy. So a 7, I barely make my kids hold a 7. So when I'm doing speech production, 7 is not where I'm going. 7 is my spot, which let's go back to where we are in here. Okay, so that was gagging. I don't know if I explained. Let me stop this real fast because so that's what I want you to do if you're a gagger or you have a gagger. That's how I want you to handle that because it will be a wonderful day when you stop gagging and you can brush your teeth and all of the things. And even if your kid's a gagger, think about when they get older and they meet a girl or a boy or whatever they're into. I just want to make sure that you have a very happy home, right? Okay, cool. Oh yeah, share. Okay, so also in this picture is a very nice thing of the tongue up in the oral cavity. Now, I want the tongue suction. I don't know if this is supposed to be skin here. It doesn't look like it because it even comes in this area. But in terms of this drawing, the tongue in a proper rest position, this tongue tip right here would be, oopsie, Bing, which I think I have a picture of it. It's going to be up in here. So this whole tongue is going to be up and back, right? Close. Perfect. All right, let's keep going. So here is a tongue tie. So as you notice, oh, let me go back on this picture. So in the tongue tie, when you're looking at tethered tissue, you can see where all the tissue would be connected in here. The white stuff is tissue, and it's connected to this muscle here, the genioglossus, and this one here, the hyoglossus, because this is what's pulling your tongue up and pushing it up as well and pulling it down. So again, we're talking about all this tissue here. So it is not muscle. So when we look, this is just tissue and it changes color to a very white when it's being pulled. But the muscle is way back in here is where the muscle is. So this is none of this is muscle. Okay, same thing with this. You're looking at it when you have a true lip tie with this frenulum here, you can see how it goes all the way through. This is why people have spaces in their teeth. I personally don't hate them. So I don't, again, I'm not going to say it's always needed. I like spaces in teeth. It gives people a little layer. How about that? And then you have these buccal ties. Now, these buccal ties are a little more concerning to me. They do hold the cheek down. Again, they're usually probably your little puffy cheekers are going to have these because the cheek has grown them to help hold that food and make it go right down in the throat. Okay, so that's usually why that's there. Okay. So when we look at the tongue, this is what I need. I need your tongue to be very free and movable because your tongue has a lot of different muscles within the muscle. So it has muscles that go, so that run sideways and vertically. So your tongue can go flat and pointy. So those are the things I need your tongue to be able to do all of these things because if I come out here, guys, and we're going to talk about this while we're doing spot, and I say and flat, little more in, flat, little more in, right? So very similar, but different. All right, so let's go back. So this is why we need all of these muscles to move freely and independent of one another. I need them to do all of these fantastic things. Okay, so proper oral rest position. So as here we go. So here's my tongue that is in the right spot. It takes up the entire roof. I do not want it down here. Do not. No. So that is exactly what we're not going for, right? I want it to take up the entire oral cavity and it even pulls this forward. So at night, this is your soft palate here. It pulls that forward. So when you're breathing at night, easy peasy, right? Easy peasy. That's my name of my game. All right. And then we're looking at the lips. Lips, I want lips gently touching together. Let's go get out of here and let's talk about lips. So I want you to start saving your bread ties when your child is watching TV, if they have any type of open lip posture, only lips, I don't care about the mouth at this point because I'm going to close it. Any type of open lip posture. If you're in a classroom and your kid is like this, I want you to save your bread ties. Give them out. And you're going to take, I hope I don't have, they're in my house. I saved mine. Ha ha, ha ha. Watch this. Bing. Okay. Bread tie. And what are they going to do while they watch TV? Read a book, write a paper. Now, if you have a baby, oh man, if you have a baby, it changes to this. So my little guy today saw him this morning while he is playing the fishing game while we're fishing. And every once in a while I pull on it. Right? Those lips really need to be strong. You get lip tipping of the teeth or tongue tipping of the teeth, and you've all seen them. Sherry, my next door neighbor Sherry had the best teeth, and they were slightly tipped in, and these ones right here come over the front. These two come over the front of the front two teeth. Oh, I have another friend that comes to or the mom. Anyways, she so you get the lingual tipping, the teeth will start tipping inward, and that is because the tongue is resting low in the mouth, and the lip is pushing the teeth in, this muscle, the orbicularis oris. Or the opposite, you get labial tipping, lip tipping, and the teeth start coming out this way because the lips are that poochy, remember that poochy lip I was telling you about? And usually the tongue is right here and the lips grow out. So this muscle gets very weak and it needs to be strong even for this, right? I need the lips out of the game for S, R, all of this, but I need them in the game for a wh, and an O. So I need accurate lip and strength of lips. So we even test them, did it today, and I left it all together so I could easily pull it out. So testing the lips should be 3 to 6 pounds. We'll see if I can do it. All right. Oh, let's take that out. So this is a lip meter. It tests your lips. It goes from 0. There is one that has a 10-pounder. Mine only goes to 6. Average lip strength is 3 to 6 pounds. I try to get everyone at a consistent 4. I do it to myself first because the kids are a little bit scared of the machine, but then they love it and they want to beat it every time, right? And you put it in and you smash, smash, smash the lips. And it tells you how strong your lips are, right? And it gives you a lip read about how strong the lips are. So again, I need those lips to be strong. We even make a lip tester. Okay, back to our talking. I got to get to the exercises. Let's kind of move through this. Okay, so read this. The teeth, I want your teeth, not any type of problem. All right, and then here's how the tongue grows. So in terms of development, it develops from back to front. That's why babies get the K and the G, the before they get the t, 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 right? So even when I look at the development, if you look at the bottom of this chart here, most speech pathologists are looking at the developmental chart. K and G should be first, but according to them, it's not. No, I'm not going to disagree with anything that's already out there and all of that kind of stuff. It's just food for thought and why I do what I do, right? I'm just giving you the reasons. I'm not going to dispute anybody. I'm not going to dispute what they put out there. And this is out there too. I mean, I didn't make that drawing. This also is out there too. It's just, what is your train, who do you, where's your alignment with? And for me, if I don't have development of the tongue in strength and precision, then I don't have speech clarity in conversation, quick speech. That's me. There are SLPs out there that do not agree with me. All right, and here's where your tongue needs to be for certain sounds. This is kind of where we were cupping. The tongue has to be able to taco. So the sides for that S and the Z and the CH and the SH and the TDN. Again, the tongue has to be all the way around the upper palate to hold that sound, to hold that air. Okay, there's what that looks like. So the black represents the oral cavity in terms of the air coming through. So the S and Z, we want that air coming right down the middle, but we do want the tongue up and back. So it's not thrusting forward, right? Okay. Let's do it. All right. Here at Family First, we look at all of these things. This is really what we've been talking about. Super Strong Speech is a program that you can do. All right, let's work on spot, suction, and giddy up. So these are usually my first 3 exercises. They are difficult. So we're going to go through them today and we're going to talk about that. So I need you to absolutely be buying these. If your child needs some grading exercises, needs to open their mouth, again, talk tools, you'll find them in there. Just go to shop. They're mouth grading or props. They give you it tells you what to do, the 10 seconds, how to do it, right? It has lots of wonderful things in there. Talk Tools is a great company. And then you're also going to be getting yellow mouth props from Amazon. Right? Amazon doesn't sell these anymore. I think you can get the purple ones, not the red ones. I can't find them. Okay, and then you're going to be getting your handy dandy Cheerios. And if you can, you're going to get some orthodontic elastics. So let's get started. Spot. Spot is the spot behind your teeth. It's those bumps. You're in the middle is your incisive papilla. Your incisive papilla is the one that would be the frenulum that would make your teeth have a space if you had a long frenulum, a lip frenulum there that needed to be cut. That's that bump right in the center, okay? We're going to be aiming for that spot. This is hard. I want to do it for a full 8 minutes, 60 seconds, a full minute, right? And I'm not going to do it here because a full minute's longer than you think, especially when I'm not talking. So I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to do it. So this is what it looks like. Actually, I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's done. So this is what it should look like when we're all finished with our kid. For a full minute. Okay, so it's a full minute. As you can see, there's a little bit of movement, not a lot, but a little bit of movement. All right, so again, that's at the end. You can do that 3 times in a row. I do so 1 minute, swallow, swallow, another minute, swallow, swallow, another minute, swallow, swallow, right? If you can do that and hold it the whole time, I'm great. I cannot have no wiggling and shaking because it will shake like muscle shakes when you're working out. So how do we teach? We get them to where they can go. right? If they cannot do this, we work on grading first. They have to be able to get to this, right? We're stretching and bigging the mouth. Now, again, if your child has a tongue tie already and they can't get to this, we're going to have to make modifications, meaning you're probably only going to get to like a 5 or a 6 on this, which again, I'm sorry, I don't have one. I do have a 4. And if you can imagine, here's a 4 and here's a 7. So the 5 and the 6 are just slightly, again, it's not a huge jump from one to the next. So a 5 or a 6 is still pretty big. And again, this is a 4. This is a 7. Mm-hmm. Make sense? Okay, so that's where we're going. So I want you to somehow get there. And the kinesthetic feedback, again, kinesthetic feedback is the difference between a n and a l. What is the difference my tongue has to do, and how do I figure that out? The kinesthetic feedback. How hard do I need to push the door to open it and not fly it forward, right? So that is that kinesthetic feedback that the muscle, your own muscle gives you, right? And in terms of you want to, you're so funny, and you push your friend, you don't want to push them over, but you want to push them, make a little joke, right? That's that kinesthetic feedback of what your body is giving. So with that being said, it's the same with your tongue. What is that kinesthetic feedback? Right? That's a little more voice. But again, we're holding and we're giving that feedback to our own body. So why do I tell you that? Because if we hold a Cheerio, you have to know how hard to push this. And in the beginning, these kids push it with all their might. And by the end, they can kind of hold it at the right push, right? So it looks like so. All the way to a minute, same thing. And then they get a little refresher, little Cheerio. Yum, yum. Again, many kids can't do this. So it's as long as you can do it, little guy. Here we go. Probably using this in the beginning. All right, little dude, here we go. I'm pretending it's a kid, okay? Here we go. Holy moly, you did 15 seconds. You're amazing. 15 seconds. Let's try for 16. You think you can do 16 seconds? All right, let's go. 16, right? You did 16. You think you can do 17? They're going to jump to 25. And we're getting to 60 and only 60. Okay, so that's how that works. We go up 1 second every time we do it. Now, for me, in my therapy sessions, I push them pretty hard. It's me. Are you guys pushing hard? No, you're doing anything that I can do. So, in terms of you're going to get them to their hardest one that they can possibly do, let's just say you're in mommy therapy, because if you're doing super strong speech, you are the speech pathologist. You're doing mommy speech, and you say, okay, you're in the bathtub. All right, my little pumpkin, here we go. You're gonna hold it. Here we go. So we're gonna hold it. You went all the way to 12. I can't believe it. You did 12 yesterday. You are the best. Yay. Let's play swim. Swim, 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 swim. Okay. 12 again. We're only going to 12. That's all you got to in your actual speech therapy session with your kid when you're actually doing that diagnostic work with them and holding them to the hardest they can do. And that's maybe, let's do that once every 3 days, guys. Once every 3 days. Let's be a speech pathologist, if you will, and really push them to their max. Other than that, we're only doing the maximum number. So in my office, let's say you can do 60 seconds, you're doing 60 seconds at home, and you're only doing it twice in front of the mirror as many times as you can. I do ask you to do it at least 6 times in front of the mirror. 2 in the morning when you brush your teeth, 2 when you get home from school, and 2 at night when you brush your teeth. That's 6 minutes of Kolbe homework. Can you do 6 minutes of Kolbe homework? You sure can. Right. Let's go. Bye. Right. So 6 minutes. We can sell 6 minutes to our kids, guys. We can. I know you can. I know you can. 6 minutes. Let's go. Right. You can do it. At the end of the day, you get your ice cream. We get our sticker chart. You got this as mamas. So just remember that we're pushing by 1 second. 1 second. We're going to push them this far. You're going to be so surprised how fast that moves in terms of how fast your body's going to adjust, because your mouth is a great thing. It's a great thing. Okay, so there's spot that we just did spot. Now we're going to suction. Suction is when we make the clicking noise. Again, your natural retainer of the mouth. Right? We're going to be doing lots of tongue clicks. So slow. The slowest tongue clicks you can do. Nobody You can't close your mouth. I need to see him super slow, but I want to see him. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's see if we can stop. I'm going to try to stop you. You think you can stop? Here we go. Stop. Right? And that's the first thing. Now it's probably going to be way back here. Right? Where it's on what the tongue's way back here. I don't care. In the beginning, you're just learning how to do it. That I'm not perfecting anything yet. I'm just getting, whoa, you stopped. Oh my goodness. Yay. How can we hold it? This one is 30 seconds, everybody. Spot 60, suction 30, right? So we're going for 30 seconds. I don't care where their tongue is, they're holding it for 30 seconds. Once they get to 30 seconds and it's easy, then you teach them. I want you to do this. I'm going to do the best I can, guys. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Do you see how I'm pushing my tongue forward? I teach them how to do that. And then I teach them how to suction up and then push the tongue forward and stop. Then open and close the jaw. Not the front teeth. No shooting it hard. The back teeth come together. I have to usually stop the activity. We look at our teeth very closely in the mirror. I tell them, do you see how these teeth right here are in front of these teeth down here? Yes, they tell me. So I use gloves. I have a little pointer. My pointers are coffee straws, nothing fancy here, right? And I tell them, and I'm in there. I have my glove or my pointer, and I tell them, you know, these teeth, one of these teeth. Watch. Do you see how they're in front? Sometimes I can put them behind though. Look. Can you do that? And then I have them do it with me. Right. Okay. So whenever we put our teeth together, we're always going to have the front teeth in front of the bottom teeth. Okay. Okay. Right. Cool. Let's do it, my friend. Mm-mm. So now we play games while we do that. Okay. We're going to open and close our mouth while we put the tower together, whatever. Right. Now you know they can do it all the time. They can do it when our teeth are together because sometimes they can't. You're going to find you're going to get this. For some reason, it falls down. And so you just keep working again, a trial and error. And you just keep working on it. And again, I do while they're in the bathtub, while we're washing your tummy, we're going to open and close. While we're getting our pencils out, we're going to open and close. Again, what are you using here? Nasal breathing. So we're killing a lot of birds with the stones here. Okay. Last one is called Giddy Up, and we're marrying the two. Okay. And we got 4 minutes. If you have questions, start putting them in here and I'm going to answer questions if you have any questions. Now, Giddy Up is the same 2 exercises put together. So it's the giddy up noise for riding a horse. It is very hard to hear over Zoom. Let's try. So as you can see, my tongue is suctioning, then it's falling back into spot. If this is my hard palate, I'm on spot, I suction, and drop it down. My tongue never leaves. So this is where I start using elastics. And we put an elastic that I go through the whole thing, guys. How is it the same as a Cheerio? It's the same size. It's the same everything. The only thing is different. You don't eat it. Yeah. If you do eat it, is it a big deal? No, it'll come out the other end and everything will be fine. Yes, kids eat them sometimes, very rarely, but we practice. Hot spot. Right? So it goes up and down, and the back of the tongue is gaining strength and movement, right? You're going to get some yawning. This one is sucked, and a spot, you're going to need a lot of yawning. Now, as we go, again, I'm trying to get everything to move independent of one another. So what do I need to take out of that? I'll show you again. Let's just see what we can guess. What is the thing that's moving that's not allowed to move? So how do I get that out of it? So only the back of the tongue, K and G. The K and G is, I mean, an S and Z, you got to have that back of that tongue strong and up and high. Great exercise for all of these tongue thrusting exercises. Now, If your child does have a tongue thrust, I very, 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 very much want you to start doing this most often. Because pulling those lips together and getting those lips strong is going to be very, very helpful. You just killed a lot of stones right there with closing the mouth. The tongue is no longer out. Now, you got to remember, this isn't a teeth activity. This is not a teeth activity. The teeth are not involved, meaning I make sure it's not a lip act. I mean, a teeth activity. My teeth are not allowed to come to the game. So I can talk, I can do all those things, but it's, and it's harder for the kids. I do this a little more. So anyways, I just want you to know that you don't know, we need them to be in rest position. I build towards an hour a day of rest position. So in the beginning, I just want them to sit in front of mommy like this and play a game with her for 2 or 3 minutes, maybe up to 5 minutes. And silence that entire time. And then once we know they can do it, we start building it into TV time and all of that. All right, it is question time and we are done. Yay, look at that. I mean, does it get any more better? Right on 1 o'clock. I love me. All right, friends, questions. Anyone have questions, comments? My tongue is killing me. I don't know if anyone cares, but I think, can you see all that weird? I gargled with hydrogen peroxide before we started. There's my owies. They bleed sometimes. It hurts. I don't know why. All right, I gotta clean. All right, everybody. I'm gonna get off. Have a wonderful day. I will see you in a month. I think I'm gonna do anybody here into like those. You help with drooling. The drooling, again, lips is a big one, and swallowing is going to be a big one. So we're going to need to help you with this aspect of actually swallowing. So that one is in terms of you need to like remind to swallow the spit. You might need to put a timer on and start every, so often we do a swallow to just swallow spit, or we start strengthening that oral cavity and meaning the lips. I need you to start doing activities with a button or one of these, especially when they're watching TV, any kind of downtime, you want their lips together and actually doing a little bit of work. I know it doesn't look like it, but this right here, I have to push it enough to where my muscles are active. They're in an active movement, an active process. And that's what I want most of all. I need your muscles to be in action, more than I need them to be so tight, right? In terms of that's to be working out really hard. No, I just need them to be in action, meaning they're on. Anything else? You are very welcome, Krista. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you coming. It's very nice of you guys that you spend your hour here with me. All right. Have a wonderful day. What is that blue square? I don't see a blue square.
Oh, sorry, Colby. I mean that thing that you're holding on your lips. You know, the thing that you're holding
on your lips? Oh, it's a bread tie. So it holds the bread or like something together. You know, like when you're yeah, it's a bread tag. Sorry, the blue square.
Okay. I'm just thinking, can I use like what do you call it? Ice lolly stick? Would that work?
Say that one more time.
Can I use the what do you call it? The flat stick from Ice Lolly? Would that work, or is it too big?
Oh, you mean like an yes, absolutely. A flat stick. Absolutely. Yes. Very nice. Okay. That would be good. Just be careful of the splinters. That's the only thing, because you could even use a coffee straw. Same, almost the same thickness.
Okay. Okay. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We're just closing the mouth. That's the name of our game, is getting those lips in action. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Colby.
You're welcome, Elena.
Thanks so much.
Great to hear your voice. It's been too long. I knew it was you. Okay. You guys have a wonderful day.